Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Ranking Member Bost. I rise today in enthusiastic support of H.R. 6411, the supporting the resilience of our nation's great Veterans Act, or commonly known as the STRONG Act. I'm proud that this legislation includes language from my bill, H.R. 4233, the Student Veterans Counseling Centers Eligibility Act. I introduced this bill alongside Ranking Member Bost to aid veteran transition back to civilian life, especially for those looking to further their education. Far too often we see the tragedy of our selfless defenders losing their battle to mental health issues when returning from service. The intention of our provision is to aid more of our veterans who are adjusting to civilian lives by providing them overdue access to vital mental health resources. This is especially personal to my district, as I represent 89,000 veterans, many of whom are or will be receiving benefits via the post-9/11 GI Bill. Regardless of which side of the aisle we sit on, we have an obligation to make sure that our counseling services are more accessible for our veterans, and I am glad that the STRONG Act focuses on this obligation. My provision would expand counseling and mental health support to student veterans through the VA's Readjustment Counseling Centers, also known as VET centers. These centers provide individual, group, marriage, and family counseling, as well as peer support opportunities for active duty service members, veterans, members of the National Guard and Reserve, and certain military family members. VET centers are community-based, confidential, and free. A recent RAND study showed that 20% of veterans on the GI Bill face feelings of depression from PTSD. That 20% amounts to over 170,000 veterans, double the number of veterans in my district. Currently, the option of student veterans using school psychologists in actuality provides very little relief for our veterans. The Director of Policy and Advocacy of the National Association of School Psychologists has reported that national school ratio of school psychologists to students is anywhere from 1 to 2,000 to 1 to 5,000. May I have another minute and a half?
The gentleman, another 2 minutes, please.
I've heard personal stories from Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've heard personal stories from student veterans who have had to wait weeks or even months for a mental health appointment if their mental health crisis was not deemed in need of, quote, immediate attention. Unfortunately, many of our veterans do not have the luxury of weeks or months to see a mental health provider. In addition, many of our universities' mental health counselors are actually not licensed professionals, but instead graduate or doctoral students. Our veterans deserve better than this, the best health care from qualified professionals. Helping students succeed in school and in their civilian lives is one of the most important ways we can thank them for our service. Tragically, the suicide rate among our veterans now is estimated to be anywhere from 17 to 22 suicides a day. 46% of military students have reported suicidal thoughts, compared with only 6% of their non-military peers. If we can provide mental health services that are able to assist just a single veteran who is contemplating suicide to choose to live, I believe it is our sworn duty to do so. We have that opportunity now. I'm proud to support the Strong Veterans Act, and I'm very grateful to Chairman Takano and Ranking Member Bost for including my bill, the Student Veterans Counseling Centers Eligibility Act. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on H.R. 4611 in support of our nation's veterans. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back.